Ready, boys?
When you got there, what kind of reception did you get from the audiences?
Well, when we got there, we didn't play for about 3 days. So it was
No, but I mean, when you got there and rested for 3 days and acclimated yourself to the Soviet Union and went up there on that stage, what kind of reaction did you get from the audience?
We're scared to death. I mean, we've played a lot of shows. You know, we've been together 11 years. Jeff and Jimmy and I know how to not talk to each other at the right times. So it means we can stay together. But regardless of the confidence we had from being together a long time, it was still like, we are here in the Soviet Union now. There are no American records here. It's like, what does that mean? And we found out what it meant. It meant that when we said the word rock and roll, that got a response. It's like, we're going to do a rock and roll song now, and you hear whistles out in the audience. And it didn't matter what the song was. If it was going da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, you know, it was like people were ready for it. We were told by the Soviet people in charge of our tour, Soviet audience is very, you know, very reserved. They'll sit there
laid back
and they'll clap. Well, when we got our first standing ovation that night, the Soviet people couldn't believe it, you know. They don't react like this, you know. The reception in general, out of 15 of the concerts, is what we would call hot, just like playing Louisiana or Kentucky. Or
jumping up and down, a lot of screaming, whistling.
People coming up to the front of the stage. I can give you an indication if you. This was not quite planned, but if you'd like to show that.
All right.
This is in Armenia. We were playing an outdoor concert at a bike track, and that's towards the end of the show. Now,
you know,
at the beginning of this, you'll notice there's people sitting down and trying to figure out what's going on here, you know. And you'll notice a few security guards.
Yeah, but you know, if you played Yankee Stadium, they'd have the same amount.
Yeah.
Or the Forum here in Los Angeles.
The difference that we found is we opened up to this audience, not knowing what to expect. And in the middle of our set, somebody in the audience stood up and started dancing, you know, some girl going crazy like this. And we looked at her, and everybody went back to their business of the tune we were in. And we all of a sudden noticed the audience. Everybody, all 4,000, 5,000 people were looking at that girl. They weren't looking at us. They were going like this. Because she was standing up. See, because it's illegal to stand up.
Against the law?
Well, yeah. And a KGB guy, a plainclothes guy, would come up and make her sit down. And somebody else over here would stand up. And another guy would go up and make him sit down. Or her. Then there was this one guy just going crazy right behind this guy sitting there in a military outfit going... It was a weird picture, you know. There's a guy going, yeah.
Listen,
but when the whole audience got up, the security just disappeared from the audience because they did not understand how, you know, everybody's getting up. We don't know what to do. So they just stayed out of the way, fortunately.
Called Stick the KGB. Was anybody smoking dope in the audience there?
No.
Do they do that over there, do you think?
Well, the first night that I was in Moscow, Jeff and I and our photographer, we went out for a walk. Here it is, Moscow, Red Square, midnight, you know. And in the 10 minutes crossing Red Square, we had 3 people approach us, you know. You sell Levi's, you sell money, $150 for your Levi's.
$150 for Levi's?
Yeah, and that was cheap. We could have got 2.
Should we open a store?
Anyway, what happened is you get very tired because people are aggressive. They're like, hey, you know, no, please, money I trade. They'll give you 4 rubles for $1. No. 5 rubles. No. 6. So this one guy, I got kind of, you know, I just wanted to push and see how far I can go. I said, well, how about heroin? You know, I get you heroin. You come with me to Revolutionary School.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
sure, walk right down.
And I said, well, how about cocaine? You have cocaine here? See, I wasn't setting myself up. I didn't say I wanted it because I wasn't going to go that far. I don't do any of that stuff anyway, but nice to know what the current market price is. But the guy said that he could get me anything I asked for. And as I walked back toward the hotel, he was going along with me. And we were followed. The photographer laid back about 50 yards because he just wanted to. And as me and this one other guy were walking back towards the hotel, I looked behind me and there's this guy in a trench coat, just like Spy versus Spy.
Dun, 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 dun.
And I asked the Soviet, I said, are we being followed? And the guy just started getting really uptight. He goes, yes. I said, are you in much trouble? He says, much danger, much trouble, don't leave me. And we went, he says, go with me to the cab stand. And we're standing at this cab stand. He tried to catch 3 cabs. And each cab would pull up, and the driver would look around and see the KGB guy standing 10 yards away and just go, and as the guy had his back to the KGB guy, he takes a syringe out of his coat pocket and stuffs it in his pants. And then as soon as the KGB guy had a backup man, they both moved in and just walked the guy off. And, you know, maybe he'll show up in 80 years.
Maybe he
In other
won't.
words, that indicates that there is the drugs over there. As far as the drug bust goes, it was handled. They didn't say up against the wall. They didn't throw them on the ground. They said, "Can we see your papers?" And he shows them his papers, because everybody has to carry, like, internal passport and all that. And thank you, and come with us. Say goodbye to everybody you used to know.
So long.
So, like, the stuff is there, you know, but it's in a very tight circle, and it's so well watched. Like, see, we were watched. We were informed by our State Department that we were very likely going to be bait. You know, don't sell anything to anybody, because we will be watched in that transaction. If we sold somebody 2 pairs of Levi's and they get picked up for black marketing, you know. So we didn't do any of that. We did a lot of trades. But,
What'd you swap?
I swapped the Levi's for a house and a car. Just things, you know, just normal stuff, you know. It's like,
I had to ask, right?
I didn't want to set you up. Just normal stuff. Maybe one guy got a balalaika, somebody else got some T-shirts, and mainly things that were made. The best things that were souvenirs were things that were handmade, not anything that had any technology applied to it. Like, you didn't want things, or any things that were made by mass producing. Like, Jeff was going to buy some tennis shoes, and he went in and looked for about 2 hours, and he says, "Yeah, I can buy them, but I couldn't wear them. I could hang them on the wall."
And say, these are my Russian
But
tennis
they weren't made to wear. They're made to be sold. And since they're there, the people line up. One shoe store, I saw a line of 75 people outside waiting to get in, because the stock had just come in.
We've kept this audience waiting long enough for the picture of the man who imitates Johnny Carson. Back with that and more after these words from our affiliated stations.